Welcome to Your Bookkeeping Matters. I'm Lisa Turner, bringing you short and snackable weekly episodes on bookkeeping and business matters in an easy to understand way so you can be in control and confident that you know your bookkeeping matters. Let's dive into this week's episode. Hello, and happy new episode of the podcast, Your Bookkeeping Matters. Finance and business things that matter, and I'm so excited about this one. I want to share some amazing tips to help you thrive as a creative entrepreneur, because I work with a lot of creatives and they ask a lot of the same questions and have very similar issues. So I want to throw them out there so you too can jump on board with these tips and processes that I put in place with our beautiful one-on-one clients. Planning this one out, I decided to make it into two parts. And this, of course, is episode part 1 with episode part 2 dropping next week. Let's dive straight into part 1 now. Do you ever think, I love what I do, but I can't bring myself to look at the numbers? The reports literally bring me down and make me cry. I don't even like logging into my Xero or whatever software you're using. I hear this regularly from clients coming on board into the AFY family, and there's actually a pretty simple solution for that one, and it is to only look at the numbers or reports that are important to you, instead of each month or quarter when you honestly should look through all the numbers. Each week or so, step it back and take a peek at only the key ones for you, not all of them. And this might only be 3 or 4 different numbers, like your sales, your GST owed, your wages, and profit. They might be the most important numbers to you, and you want to keep regular tabs on those ones each day, each week, whatever, and you can handle checking on those. How do you do that without delving through all the reports though? Option 1, if you're on my favorite accounting software, Xero, you can set up or edit it if it's already there and you didn't know what it was for, is what's called the dashboard account watch list. It's a little watch list you can set up on the dashboard of your Xero login, pick up which accounts you want to see a snapshot of when you log in, save them there, and you've got yourself a very simple and easy way to view what you want to know without running the reports, without having to scroll through all the numbers. And it shows you both the month to date and year to date totals. If you want to get super fancy and you have, or you've had your bookkeeper set up your budgets in Xero as well, you can show the budget column on this watch list as well. Now, option 2, and this is for all the other softwares, and Xero can do this as well, of course, you can set up or get your bookkeeper to set up for you a custom report that summarizes only those few accounts that you want to see, and then you can run it whenever you like, so that it literally shows you only a handful of accounts that you want to dive in and spot check. You can run a report that summarizes the same things, just your sales, your GST, your profit, whatever those 3 or 4 things are that you want to see without looking at all the numbers. You can create a custom report that does that for you. A custom upgrade that we do for clients who opt in for it is a slide deck recorded presentation where we step them through in a recorded video for them through a graph or chart format how their figures went. And this is really helpful for them. It doesn't make their eyes glaze over or their creative brain shut down like it does when we proudly hand over pages of management reports that we lovingly created for them. We might love them, but they don't, and the graphs and the charts do the trick beautifully. So when someone tells me they can't stand looking at reports, but they want to understand their numbers more, this is a super fast and easy way to get them on track and confident in knowing their numbers. Setting up a watch list in Xero or a custom, super short and snappy report with only a few numbers on it. It's simple to digest and understand. You don't need to force yourself to look at all the numbers every week. Break it down and look at a few. You can always add more to it, and eventually you'll love grabbing a coffee and sitting down to read the whole profit and loss report every month. Well, that's my dream for you anyway. That kind of leads into my next tip. Know your profitable services. So tracking your separate income streams or different services or products, that's key to thriving as a creative, because you do have all those different areas and services. You want to be only providing services that are profitable, right? So it's important that you have some way of tracking this that's easy, be it through having different products in your accounting software or the different services in your sales software like Dubsado. And the second part of that, and sometimes more difficult, is to track your expenses against those jobs or services. And this could be a whole huge training on this alone, but this episode is just about tips. So what I mean by that is, if time is your cost, track your hours worked on each job. This is often a controversial topic. I've heard coaches, and I use that term loosely, say it's a waste of time clocking your own hours. It's your own business. So don't even get me started there. If you want to clock time and that's helpful for you and what you're trying to measure and achieve, do it. Because if you're not clocking your time, how do you know accurately how much time you spent on something? You could be guessing 5 hours and it was actually 10, which blew it way over budget, and you made a huge loss on that service or that thing. So if time is what you're selling, you absolutely do need to track it. And I don't mean only if you charge people by the hour. I mean if it's your time or your employee or contractor's time that is what creates the service you're selling, you need to monitor this. A super short example, we're bookkeepers here at Accounted For You, my practice. We don't charge by the hour, we charge for a result, but to get that result, someone had to use their time to do it. So I want to make sure that time spent and wages come in where I budgeted them to, and if I'm not time tracking, well, I'll never know. I have been investigating more options for myself for the future, but for the purpose of this, knowing if the services or jobs are profitable, you have to know pretty well what time was spent doing it. And there are loads of different options for clocking your time. Some project management software come with their own time trackers, but there is EverHour, Toggl, Clockify, so many different ones, and all super simple and easy to use. Now, if you have costs besides time, like things you've bought specifically to do that job, like a particular website theme that you bought and paid for the client that you're building the website for, or a particular font, you've designed their brand strategy and part of that is a new font, you need to add that to the cost of the job. You want to know overall, is this thing or service I'm offering as a creative profitable? And that's the sale price, less any time costs, less any other costs. And then yes or no, is it profitable? Because if it's not, well, you know what you need to do. Review that offering big time. So don't invoice all the things you do under the one product heading or the one service or the one bucket in your sales platform and go, yay me. Because to thrive as a creative, you need to know you are selling profitably on a more broken down level than only looking at overall. Same as any business, only it's easier when it's purely product based. Or if you're not a creative, because you do like to get down in the numbers. Creatives so often avoid doing this, and I want to let you know you need to do it, and it's not as tricky or as overwhelming as you might think it is to work these things out. Because while you might be making a profit overall, there could be a specific service or area of things that aren't profitable, draining money out of the business, and it's covered up by a very profitable area of your business. You could literally make more profit simply by stopping that non-money making area. I understand though, sometimes there are little things here and there that you might deliberately do at break even or at a loss, sometimes known traditionally as loss leaders. But if you're not tracking your profitability on a job or service level, you won't know, will you? And you can't thrive and grow where you want to. The key takeaway from this is, in your marketing business, your social media management business, your website business, make sure you know which jobs, products, or services you're offering are profitable. Okay, before I get too carried away, that wraps up part 1 of financial tips to thrive as a creative. I'm here to take away the stress or the overwhelm of numbers and let you know you can do these things and thrive financially. You can. More often than not, it's your mindset putting you off, telling you, I'm a creative person, I can't look at or work out these numbers. You definitely can. Like every single thing I talk about though, please keep in mind, not everything is perfect for you. Take what I'm teaching you or sharing with you and apply that to your business in a way that works for you. Everything I talk about is general advice, and I'm not saying that only to cover myself, which I need to, but because I genuinely don't know the ins and outs of your business, and what works perfectly for one business doesn't necessarily in another. So if you need advice specific to you and your business and want to jump into our done-for-you services, book a free discovery call with me now through my website, accountedforyou.com.au/book, or reach out to your own trusty bookkeeper or accountant to get some support in place to help you as a creative know and understand your business financials so you can thrive. I can't wait to share part 2 with you next week. In the meantime, if you loved this, please leave a review. I would be so grateful. It means the world to me to know that you're enjoying the podcast. And I will catch you next week on Your Bookkeeping Matters.